Okay, Ramjammers, this is the moment we've all been waiting for, the interview with Larry Dodson of the Barcades, and I absolutely loved doing this. So I was a little bit nervous, you know, it's Larry Dodson and everything, but I'll tell you what, he's a wonderful man. Just have a little listen.
Hi, this is Larry Dodson of the Barcades, and I listen to Ramjam Radio.
Enjoy the music until your party answers the phone.
Good morning, it's Larry.
Hello there, Larry. It's DJ Gloss from London, England, Ramjam Radio. How are you today?
I'm good. Good morning. How are you? It's morning here. I don't know what time it is there.
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. I think there's about 5 hours difference between us. So.
Oh, okay. All right. How are you guys doing?
We're doing very well. It's a little bit grey on the weather side. What's the weather like in Memphis?
It's a little rainy here, but other than that, it's nice. It's okay.
That sounds good. Yeah, we're a little bit grey. It's a little bit sort of grey and dark in London. It's just like in the movies, you know, where it's always raining in London. You've probably seen that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you absolutely fine, sir. Can you hear me well?
Good. And I can hear you as well, so it's okay.
That's excellent. That's really good news. Well, welcome to Ramjam Radio. It's an absolute honour to interview you, sir. So many of our listeners love the Barcades, and you're so regularly requested by our listeners. One of the particular favourites that we have is Say It Through Love, which is one that I get asked for over and over again on air. So I don't know if you might want to start off by saying a little bit about that particular tune.
I sort of missed that last part.
Yeah, it was the tune that I get asked for a lot is Say It Through Love, which is one I get requested a great deal on air from our listeners.
I see. Okay.
And I wondered if there was anything you'd like to sort of say anything about on that particular tune for us.
Well, you know, one of the things that I sort of hate is the fact that we don't get a chance to get to Europe, London, the UK, and overseas more often because our music is appreciated, you know, overseas. It's just been the luck of the draw that we don't play a lot overseas, and we're going to remedy that starting this year. We're going to play more this year. And we have had offers to go, but, you know, for different reasons. Sometimes it's the money, sometimes it's scheduling. We just haven't had a chance to do that. But we do have a great audience in London and Europe and the UK. We go to the East a lot, and we're in Italy maybe every other year. So we're going to expand, but we're most appreciative that the fans in London and England like the Barcades.
Oh, we love the Barcades here. Like I say, Ramjam Radio, we're a soul and reggae and R&B station in London, although we do broadcast right the way across the world because we are on the internet. But
right, okay.
The requests for the Barcades, I can think of some particular listeners that go absolutely crazy when I play anything by the Barcades. You know, absolutely anything.
Is that right?
Oh, they love you. They love you. And if you're going to come to the UK, tell us here at Ramjam Radio, because I can tell you now, there'll be a lot of Ramjam family that will be at that concert, wherever it is in the UK.
We're actually scheduled to come to the UK this year. I'm looking at my calendar now. We're scheduled to come between July 15th and the 28th. I don't have the cities, but we're scheduled during that time period. There is a tour, a little short tour, that's going to come between July 15th and the 28th. And as I find out the cities, I will let you guys know where we're going to be. It'll be posted on our website, and you guys can look and see exactly where we're going to be between that time period.
We certainly will. I'm certainly going to block out those dates on my calendar because I'm going to come and see you. And it doesn't matter in England what city you're in because the country's not that big.
Right, absolutely right.
So we can come and see you. No.
Absolutely, and that's good that you get a lot of requests for the Barcades, because that's one thing we're sometimes curious about is how much of our music is played there.
Oh,
We're curious about that.
You're seriously loved. I mean, I do a soul show on a Saturday morning, and I don't think there is a single show where I don't play something from the Barcades.
Wow.
It's a 3-hour show, and there is very rarely a show where I don't play the Barcades. I also do the breakfast show here on Ramjam Radio, and I rarely get through a week without playing one or two Barcades tunes because people love you. You know, you are very, very popular here. You know, everything from Soulfinger to Sexomatic, they love you.
Well, you know what? We're really fortunate because here in the United States now, last July, we released a record that was produced by Jazzy Faye, who is my partner's son, James Alexander. That's his son, and he's maybe one of the top 5 producers in the country now. He produced a song called Grown Folks. It was in the top 10 here in the U.S., and it's still a huge record for us. So it was on our 30th album.
On your 30th album?
Our 30th career album, and it's reinvented our career, man.
Wow. I think I might have seen that this morning on iTunes, actually. That's not one I personally have, but I will get it now, and we will start to play that record here in the UK and you know, see if we can get a nice chart position for you here in the UK, which will be wonderful.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'll make sure after we talk, after we finish, that I'll get you our website and we'll MP3 it to you.
Oh, that's marvelous. That is fantastic. Thank you so much for that. You don't mind if I call you Larry, do you?
Oh, no, of course, that's it, yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful, Larry. Thank you very much. Can I ask you a question going back in time with yourself and ask you, what started you singing? What was it that made you start singing and realise that, hey, I've got a good voice here?
Well, it wasn't that thought. It was just something that was, you know, just sort of inside. You know, I didn't really, it wasn't from a lot of church stuff. As you know, a lot of soul R&B singers started in the church. I sang in church, but it wasn't a lot. You know, it was just something I did from a hobby standpoint. And then I formed a group in high school called the Temprees, who later went on to make 5 or 6 pretty popular doo-wop songs dedicated to the one I love, Love Maze. And they were a love group, you know. Yes. 3 guys, was 4 of us. You may be familiar with them. And in 1970, I joined the Barcades, and I've been the only singer they've had since 1970 up until this present time.
That's
but
right.
As for what started me, you know, just the urge to something in my soul, you know.
Absolutely, and that certainly comes through when you're singing. You know that it is in your soul, literally. It's wonderful. So that leads me on to the next question, Larry, which is when you were a kid, who were your idols? Who were the people you looked up to, or the people you wanted to mimic or be like in the music industry?
Without a doubt, Ray Charles.
Ray Charles.
He was my number 1 mentor.
Awesome.
And growing up in my house, you know, my dad was in the jazz, so Ray Charles resonated in my house, and I just thought he was just a prolific soul singer.
Yeah.
And I emulated him, you know, as a kid when I was singing around the house. And then there were others, you know. As I got older, I admired the Temptations a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And Billy Preston was one of my guys as well. And Sly Stone became a guy who I later, you know, started to fall in love with for just the difference of what he did. Because I became more of a individualist, I guess more to speak. As after I sort of dropped the idea of being a group singer, I became more of a lead singer, which I had to when I became the singer of the Barcades, So that weight, I was the only singer they ever had. Nobody else in the band sang. So here I was at 19 years old, front guy for a band who had already had their first record was a million-seller soul singer. So that was quite a big weight I had. And when I joined the band, they were already in the middle of recording an album.
So they'd already gone platinum before you joined them.
Absolutely right. I mean, the Barcades were just enormously popular, here in Memphis and around the world when I joined it. It's just that they had made a decision. They wanted to be stop being just an instrumental group and find somebody to sing and be a frontman.
Well, every time you drop Soul Finger, if you're a soul do anywhere, every time you drop Soul Finger, you're guaranteed a full dance floor. Absolutely.
It's just one of those songs, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's just one of those songs. Absolutely wonderful. So could you tell us about some memorable moments with the Barcades that the Ramjam radio listeners might find interesting, funny, or just something that sticks in your mind?
There are a few things that have happened along the way. One of them was receiving our first gold album. The record label, Polygram Records, sneaked and gave us our first gold album in the middle of a Madison Square Gardens performance.
Wow!
And that was quite amazing for us because we had, when Stax closed in '75.
Yes.
We didn't break up. We said that we were going to just play and keep playing. So we had a little saying. We said one day we played at this club called the Family Affair for a year.
Yes.
And we wrote the songs that went on to give us gold albums. And we said, one day we're going to come from the Family Affair to Madison Square. And ironically, that's where we got our first gold album, was in Madison Gardens. I mean, so that was quite amazing. I'll tell you another memorable moment was working with Sly Stone on an album. I worked with him for 1 month.
Wow.
And that may be the epitome of my career, man.
Wow.
In New York, because he's been my idol. He and I wrote songs together for an album, and it wasn't one of our most famous albums, but just working with him and just being around him and listening to his stories and just being in the studio for 1 solid month. Was
serious name.
Amazing. Oh man, because he's an iconic entertainer, man.
Oh. And here too, in the UK. And one of your idols too, so to work with one of your idols must have been just amazing.
Oh, I thought I died and gone to heaven.
Oh, fantastic.
And you know what? He was quite a gentleman. You've heard a lot of wild stories about him, and maybe they're true or whatever, but he was on time. We picked him up every morning, and we worked from, say, 12 o'clock in the morning and afternoon till it was 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and he was marvelous for 1 solid month.
Lovely. How?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's great. That's really lovely. I see that you did 3, I think it was, performances for troops in Iraq. I was reading about that on the internet.
Sorry, I missed that.
Sorry, you did performances for troops, for soldiers out in Iraq. You went out to Iraq to perform for them.
Absolutely, and that especially the first time, that needs to go on that list as well because, the first time we went 3 times.
Yes,
we performed 3 times. The first time we went, we were actually the first group of bands to ever go because they had other troops because we didn't go the route of what do you call it, where did you go with the troops, the other way. We didn't go the through the normal channels. This was another special performance, and where you go, Larry will take your question. It's not quite time. We went. It took us 3 months to get this. We went directly to where the troops were, out in the fields, and we played in Baghdad. We played 5 performances.
Wow.
Matter of fact, we were scheduled to play 5, but one of them, because of the fighting, we had to cancel one of them. But we went in Baghdad. We went to Camp Kirkuk, just places that were just pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
And we performed for the troops, and, man, we signed 5,000 autographs, and the troops could not believe that we had come way up in dangerous parts of the country where they were fighting to do that. And we went back subsequently 2 other times, and the last time we went, all the troops were basically gone home, and we were glad to see that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We went and we slept in Saddam Hussein's old palaces. That's that they had captured and made headquarters out of. So we saw all of his palaces. We visited. We went to. We sang in the hospitals for crippled and injured troops, both Iraqis and Americans, man. So it was just amazing.
God, I bet. Wow.
Really amazing for us.
Was that the palace that had the huge man-made lake round it? Was that the one? I think I saw some video footage of it. It's got this like huge man-made lake all the way around it. I think they stole all the water from the farmers and made this lake.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, and he bred these fish that were like half catfish and half something else, and they would throw the tortured victims over there, and these fish would eat them up, man. It was like horrible.
Oh, oh wow.
He was a bad guy. He was a bad guy, but we went to all of his palaces, and we would go to the hospitals, and we saw the injured get a feel of just what was going on over there.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was quite different from what we see on CNN. They had things under control.
Just
really, they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was quite amazing.
And you were that close to the war zone that you had to cancel concerts and that kind of thing as well? Wow.
Well, we were on. They never allowed us to go off the bases, but the bases were close to war. During that time, it was 2009.
Yeah.
And understand, during that time, there was a lot of fighting going on.
I think that's massive that you went out there and did that for the troops. I mean, as a morale boost, and how wonderful, how lovely. Just.
Oh yeah. I mean, they cried. They couldn't believe we were there, man. I mean, they actually cried when we were there before.
Wow, that's just wonderful. I just having a look here. I'm looking at some figures for Soulfinger because Soulfinger reached number 3, I think it was, in the American national charts, didn't it? But the B-side also was charted. That was Knucklehead on the B-side of Soulfinger. So that must have been awesome to actually, to have the A-side at number 3 and the B-side in the charts at the same time. That was brilliant.
Oh, sort of unheard of. It just didn't happen that often, back then. It just didn't happen. The Marquees just have been an extremely blessed and special group from the very beginning. Even though they have they suffered an untimely setback with the losing 4 of the members in the plane crash with Otis Redding. It was just devastating. But through the perseverance of James Alexander, he quickly reformed the group with Ben Corley, who survived. Yes. He quickly reformed because he felt like that's what the guys wanted to do. They would have done, and he got a group back together within 6 months.
I read about that. Yeah, and to pull the group back together after such a devastating tragedy with the loss of 4 members and Otis too. Amazing. Amazing.
Absolutely. Otis was on his way to being just who knows? I mean, just who knows how big he would have been. And people don't know, but he was only 26 years old when he died. Owned his own publishing company, owned his own plane, his own ranch. He was very prosperous, and we're talking in the mid-'60s, in the middle of, segregation and the Barcades having an interracial group.
Yeah.
People don't really know that. A lot of that came out when we did the documentary TV special, Unsung, which incidentally was, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's a special that comes on here where it's called Unsung, where they do documentaries of groups who didn't quite make the stardom that they were on their way to making. That story came out. It was a very interesting story in the Barcades, one of their biggest.
Wow, yeah. And you don't consider Otis as being only 26, when he died. That to me is, that makes him considerably younger than I thought, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Wow. What an awful tragedy, and what a loss of great talent. Not just with Otis, but with the other members of the Barcades too, and the band came back fighting fit, as it were, and have produced an absolute catalogue of wonderful tunes that, as a DJ here in the UK, I get asked for over and over again. They love it. They absolutely love you. And that leads me on to another question, actually.
Yes, sir.
If I'm not taking up too much of your time, I'm a bit...
No. I'm okay.
Well, I wanted to ask you, what are your favourite tunes? What are your favourite Barcades tunes?
Let's see. Anticipation is one of them.
Anticipation, yeah.
Anticipation is one of them. Holy Ghost is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Let me see.
You are allowed to say all of them, sir, if you want to.
You know what? Sexomatic is one of my favorites.
Sexomatic is a great tune because
it is. Your Place of Mine is one of my favorites, and Unforgettable Dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
those are some of the ones that stick out,
Definitely.
But my God, we've done, like I said, we've done 8 best ofs and greatest hits, and we've done a lot of music, man, And I tell you, probably some of the most controversial music we've done was on an album called Black Rock, which is one of our first albums. We did that on Stax.
Yes, that's right. I was on Stax. Yeah. Was that?
It's probably one of the best albums we've done.
I saw that listed in your discography. Yeah, that was actually your very first recording with Stax, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's one of my favorite albums, believe it or not. I mean, we were very young, but that's one of the most innovative albums we've done because it was just such a clever mixture of rock and soul and R&B, and the arrangements were just really, really cool for that time frame.
It was ahead of its time.
No black band was doing stuff like that. It
was ahead of its time, definitely.
Way ahead.
Way ahead. Yeah, definitely agree there. Is it anything else, Larry, that you would like to say to your fans here in London? And believe me, there are loads of them. Is there anything you'd like to say to them?
Well, I would just like to say look out for us in July, somewhere between the 15th, 28th, and constantly look on the internet for our website, www.thebarcades with a dash between the R and the K.
Yeah.
.com, www.thebarcades.com, and keep up with our tour schedule, because we're going to be in the UK in July. And check out Grown Folks, our new single, and there's going to be a big announcement that we're going to make. I'm not at liberty to tell you right now, but there's going to be a big announcement about some really special things we're going to be doing in this near future. When I say near future, I mean in maybe even next month. It's going to be explosive about the Barcades.
Wow. Well, we're seriously looking forward to that. And
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
We are staying tuned. And that's usually a question I ask is what are you sort of working on now? What's coming up in the future? But if it's a big secret release, well, we won't ask that question.
If I could tell you, I would, but I want it to be a surprise. It's going to be a huge press release, but I'm going to tell you, it's going to raise the eyebrows. It's going to be something. It's very positive. It's going to be something you're going to just say, wow.
Well, we're seriously looking forward to that, and you've definitely tantalised the taste buds of the Barcades fans here in London, that's for sure, and they will be watching that space, they will be looking at your website, and I know there will be quite a lot of people from Ramjam Radio, not just the crew, but also many of our listeners that are now going to be looking for your concert dates on your website. So we can't wait to come along and join with you. This is Larry Dodson, Ramjam Radio listeners, from the Barcades. What a gentleman. Thank you so much for taking the time with us today.
My pleasure. You guys have a great afternoon.
Could I ask you one more favour, sir?
Sure.
Could I ask you to do a little drop or jingle for me? Something like this.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, sure.
Okay, something like, this is Larry Dodson of the Barcades, and I listen to Ramjam Radio.
Is that Wind Jam? W-I-N-D?
It's Ram, R-A-M-J-A-M, Ramjam.
R-R-I-N.
Oh, sorry, Ram as in a male sheep, Ram Jam.
Oh, Ramjam.
Ramjam Radio.
Ramjam Radio. Okay,
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Hi, this is Larry Dodson of the Barcades, and I listen to Ramjam Radio.
That's absolutely fantastic, sir. And
Okay.
I will get great pleasure in playing that just before I play a Barcades tune. Wonderful. It's been lovely talking to you, Larry. And if you don't mind, in the future when you've done this new amazing stuff and you've been here for a concert date and so on, if we could possibly hook up again for another short interview, if that's okay, and you've got time, I would love to do that. Thank you for joining Ramjam Radio.
Absolutely. Now, how can I get it?
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the interview with Larry Dodson there of the Barcades. We've been waiting for that one all week. Absolutely fantastic. What a gentleman that man is. Now, the really, really good news that was mentioned in there that was a bit of a secret at the time actually happened this week. And the Barcades played at the White House for President Obama. And that was the secret that Larry couldn't give away, obviously, because he would have been breaching security terribly, I would have thought, if he'd have given that away at the time. But the Barcades did play the White House. How amazing is that? What a wonderful, wonderful guy, and lovely to talk to him.
Hi, this is Larry Dodson of the Barcades, and I listen to Ramjam Radio.
Glossy.
You're listening to Ramjam Radio with DJ Gloss.